Endrick is not the present of Brazilian football yet. He is not Ronaldinho. He is not Kaká. He is not Adriano. He is not Neymar. But if there is one former Brazilian superstar whose traits appear again and again when you watch Endrick play, it is Ronaldo Nazário. And that is exactly why
we are going to be reacting to the video, the World Cup has an Endrick problem. Endrick has been going off, and he probably has the coldest celebration in the game right now. That something like, something like that, something along those lines. But shout out to GOAT TV with the video, man. Let's just
the most underrated star.
Endrick, he's been that move to Lyon,
and by the time this tournament is over, the entire football
doing
world
wonders for his career at the moment, man.
His current form is outrageous. 3 goal contributions in his last 3 matches for Brazil, all while coming off the bench. And the scary part, exact same thing happened at Real Madrid. In a squad packed with superstars like Kylian Mbappe and Vinicius Jr., Endrick quietly posted the best goals per minute ratio in the entire team during the 2024-25 season, scoring once every 86 minutes. Yet in what many Madrid fans still consider one of the most unfair decisions of recent years, he barely played the following campaign. During the 2025-26 season, he received only 11 minutes in La Liga and 11 minutes in the Champions League. A complete waste of one of the most efficient young forwards in world football. That incredible momentum only exploded further once he arrived in France. When
Bro, I was literally saying that, Endrick went 15-16 to Real Madrid when it was 15-16, bro. With crazy hype, just rotting away on the bench as well, man. Come on. The talent, it was clear the talent was there, but he wasn't given the consistency or the platform for him to exercise his talent. So the talent was just rotting away. It was decaying like a mold of bread, So now that he's gone to Lyon, he's doing wonders. He ain't really a surprise. And the French league is all my days magnifique for talent development, by the way. I think, a lot of coaches should look to loan their top talents to these French teams. This is why I feel like, bro, Liverpool selling Tyler Morton to Lyon instead of putting him on. I don't know. He wasn't really feeling the loan because he's been out on loan so many times. He was probably just tired of it. He wants to actually play permanently. You feel what I'm saying. But I just feel like, man, talents just I don't know. Coaches need to start realizing that the French
Real
league
Madrid
is really amazing for young.
He finished his spell in France with an astonishing return of 8 goals and 8 assists in just 21 matches, even scoring in a victory over the reigning back-to-back European champions. The numbers were elite. The performances
I watched that. I remember that
because Endrick
he was
going
off
Madrid as just a promising striker. He left as a goal scorer. He arrived in Lyon and became a complete footballer. He learned how to operate as a number 10. He became dangerous drifting wide. He improved his creativity. He improved his decision-making. And he never lost the killer instincts that made him special in the first place. Yet somehow many people still refuse to give him the credit he deserves. Everyone talks about Lamine Yamal. Everyone talks about Nico Paz. Everyone talks about Désiré Doué. But very few are paying attention to Endrick. And that could be a huge mistake. Because while Neymar is still on the pitch and remains one of Brazil's biggest icons, this young man might be the player capable of taking Brazil back to the very top of world football, back to the level where legends are created.
Can you guys see Endrick being the face of Brazil, the main number 1 guy, what Goetz was saying for how Neymar was the guy for this generation. Previous generations was Brazilian R9, Brazilian Ronaldo. You had these guys, Ronaldinho, they were carrying the mantle. Can you guys see Endrick being the guy, the face of the Brazil team to carry the mantle?
Something that previous heirs
they have Vinicius
never fully achieved. Not Robinho, not Adriano,
still think Vinicius
and perhaps not even Neymar himself. So why could Endrick be different? Because he has the talent. He has the goals. He has that unmistakable Brazilian flair. Most importantly,
he's a character.
Many stars never develop: humility. When Carlo Ancelotti looked him in the eye and told him, "Your chances of making the World Cup depend on playing regular football. You need to go on loan," Endrick listened. He swallowed his ego. He left Real Madrid. He went to France. And the rest is history. Endrick is not going to be just another player at this World Cup. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly why. It is impossible to talk about Endrick or any new Brazilian superstar, without understanding the weight of the shirt he wears. Brazil is the nation that has produced more football and magic than any other country on the planet. Time and time again, the Seleção has given the world icons who didn't just win matches. They defined entire eras. Pelé, Garrincha, Ronaldo Nazário, Ronaldinho, Zico, Neymar. These are
I
not
was
simply
literally
great
saying
players.
that. Like,
They are footballing
can we
legends
see
who helped transform
Endrick
Brazil
becoming that
into
guy,
the
the
most
number one guy to
successful
carry the
nation
mantle
in
for
World Cup
this
history through
their
skill,
next generation,
creativity, flair, and an almost supernatural ability to produce unforgettable moments. And it all starts with Pelé. The king of football remains the greatest symbol of Brazilian football. He won the World Cup at just 17 years old in 1958, becoming the youngest player ever to lift the trophy. He would go on to win 3 World Cups in total: 1958, 1962, and 1970. A record that still stands today. Pelé scored 77 goals for Brazil and 12 goals at World Cups, but numbers alone do not explain his greatness. In Sweden 1958, he scored the winning goal against Wales to announce himself to the world. In the semi-final against France, he delivered a legendary hat-trick, including a stunning goal where he cushioned the ball with his thigh before volleying home with perfect technique.
Damn.
In the final against Sweden, still only 17 years old, he scored twice in a 5-2 victory. One of those goals controlling the ball, flicking it over a defender, and finishing calmly remains one of the most
for this being shot around like the
ever scored in
60s,
World
these
Cup
are some
history.
compy
Then came
highlights. Like,
Mexico,
this is some
1970.
bro.
Against Romania, he scored another brace, and in the final against
These
Italy,
are,
he opened the scoring with a magnificent header at the Azteca Stadium, helping Brazil win 4-1 and permanently claim the Jules Rimet trophy. But if Pelé was the king, then Garrincha was pure joy. Known as the joy of the people,
I'm not gonna lie, I don't
Garrincha
know
became one of the
too
greatest
much about
dribblers
Garrincha,
football has
you know.
ever seen,
I've
and
heard of him,
arguably
but,
the
you
greatest right winger in history. When Pelé was injured during the 1962 World Cup in Chile, Garrincha carried Brazil on his shoulders. He won the Golden Ball as the tournament's best player and shared the Golden Boot as top scorer. Against England in the quarter-finals, he scored twice in a 3-1 victory. In the semi-final against Chile, he delivered another unforgettable performance with 2 more goals.
Again, bro,
guiding
these are
Brazil
straight
into the
golazos,
final
like.
almost single-handedly. And perhaps the
Don't
most
be fooled by the
ridiculous statistic
timeline.
of all, Pelé and Garrincha played 40 matches together for Brazil. They won 36, drew 4, and never lost a single game.
Shout out, what's his name? Lonzo Ball? No, not Lonzo Ball. I forgot the guy's name. I love our ball. Never lost. Undefeated, never lost.
These two are footballing geniuses, but Brazil's story did not end with geniuses. Soon a new generation would arrive. Magicians, phenomena, players capable of making the impossible look normal every time they touched a football. Ronaldo Nazário, the phenomenon, one of the greatest centre-forwards the game has ever seen. His World Cup story began in 1994.
I've got a hot take. Folks aren't ready to hear this. I've got Ronaldo Nazário as the second greatest striker ever. I wouldn't put him number 1. Okay, me personally, I think the top 3 strikers of all time, yeah. Number 3, Henry. 2, Ronaldo Nazário. Number 1, I think I have to, as a footballer, right? If we're talking about strictly as a footballer, I have to go with Luis Suarez, bro. Luis Suarez, in my opinion, as a footballer, is the greatest player to ever touch the number 9 shirt. Okay, I don't want to say number 9 because there might have been some like compy wingers that have touched the number 9 shirt in it. But striker though, specifically the striking position, Luis Suarez, number 9 in the NBA. Not NBA, football history.
At just 17 years old, he travelled to the tournament as Brazil's brightest young talent. He didn't play a single minute, but he left the United States as a world champion. 4 years later in France, 1998, the world finally witnessed his brilliance. Ronaldo scored against Morocco, bagged a brace against Chile,
This is Ronaldo again. He's right through. Ronaldo!
and added another goal in the semi-final against the Netherlands. He arrived at the final as the biggest star of the tournament.
One performance
but his true
though that
masterpiece
comes to
came
my mind. Yeah, this is probably gonna be one of the last few pauses I have for this entire video. With Ronaldo Nazário, like obviously I wasn't watching his time, but I think my favorite highlight of the guy is that game against Man United, where bro, I think he scored like a hat trick that game at Old Trafford as well. Bro, I'm gonna have to hit this on a 1.5 speed for you lot, man, because this
In
video
the new
is
millennium,
so
after suffering
long.
devastating knee injuries that many believed would end his career, Ronaldo produced one of the greatest redemption stories in sporting history. At the 2002 World Cup, he returned stronger than ever and carried Brazil to glory. He finished as the tournament's top scorer with 8 goals, 1 against Turkey, 1 against China, 2 against Costa Rica, 1 against Belgium in the round of 16, another against Turkey
This
in
is
the
brain
semi-final,
rot
and the
plus,
unforgettable brace
plus.
against Germany in the World Cup final.
Ultra
Brazil became
no,
world
we're not
champions
at
once
ultra
again.
level yet,
Ronaldo
but
completed one of the greatest comebacks football has ever seen. Even in Germany 2006, he continued adding to his legend, scoring once against Japan and twice against Ghana. By the end of his World Cup career, Ronaldo had scored 15 goals on football's biggest stage, cementing his place among the greatest World Cup players in history. Then came Ronaldinho Gaucho. If football is meant to bring joy, then Ronaldinho is its purest expression. Universally recognised for his magic, creativity, and ability to do the impossible with a smile on his face, Ronaldinho became the symbol
Ronaldinho,
of Brazil's
man,
famous Jogo Bonito. He
you
was a world
never-
champion in 2002,
you
and his most
never
iconic World Cup
get
moment
a
came against
second
England
of
when
me
he scored that
saying
outrageous
a
long-range free
bad
kick
word about
that
the
left
guy,
David
bro.
Seaman stranded and helped send Brazil
What
to the
a player,
semi-finals.
man.
And while Ronaldinho brought magic, Zico brought genius. Many consider Zico to have been the best player in the world during the 1980s and one of the greatest icons in Flamengo's history. Although he never managed to win a World Cup, he remains one of the most intelligent playmakers and deadly finishers ever to wear the yellow shirt. His vision, technique, and football IQ
I'm not
made him
gonna-
one
I
of the
don't
finest
know too
footballers
much
Brazil
about
has
Zico
ever
either.
produced. Then came Neymar Jr. For more than a decade, Neymar carried the hopes of an entire football nation. Today he stands as Brazil's all-time leading scorer with 79 official goals, surpassing even Pelé. He led the Seleção through an entire generation, winning the Confederations Cup, Olympic gold, and becoming the face of Brazilian football in the modern era. At the World Cup, Neymar delivered as well. He scored 4 goals at Brazil 2014, 2 more in Russia 2018, and another 2 in Qatar 2022, reaching 8.
Bro, I hate to break it to these Neymar fanboys here, but I think I just think Kylian Mbappe has already surpassed Neymar. You know, I don't know. I might be alone on that island, but yeah, man, I think Mbappe has already surpassed Neymar.
4 goals at Brazil 2014,
People don't
2 more in
realise
Russia
it yet,
2018, and another 2 in Qatar
I
2022,
think it's
reaching
done,
8
man.
World Cup goals overall, while constantly carrying the
moment, right
creative
now, I
burden
think
of the
Mbappe.
national team. These were not just stars, they were icons, players who carried the expectations of over 200 million people every time they stepped onto a football pitch. And now, for the first time in years, Brazil believes it may have found the next name capable of joining the beginning of the next Ronaldo Nazario story. Brazil, led by captain Neymar, has placed enormous faith in the brightest young star of the new generation. And honestly, it is easy to understand why. Endrick is a problem. Alongside Ryan, he is one of the 2 youngest players in Brazil's World Cup squad. Both arrived at football's biggest stage, believing their moment would come. And right now, it feels like destiny is opening the door for Endrick. The Real Madrid forward has already taken France by storm, and now he is looking to establish himself on the international stage, especially with Neymar dealing with injury concerns. And what Endrick is doing right now is genuinely ridiculous. His performance against Egypt was a massive statement, because his production is not normal. He came off the bench and just 6 minutes later he was already celebrating a goal, and not just any goal.
Bro,
After a
again,
brilliant
like that
double flank from
celebration
Rafinha,
is
Endrick showed exactly
complete.
why he is so dangerous. While 4 Egyptian defenders were focused on the ball, Endrick quietly drifted into space near the penalty spot. He timed his movement perfectly, stayed completely unmarked, and when Rafinha delivered the cross, Endrick finished with the composure of a veteran striker. And here is the scary part. In less than 500 minutes for Brazil's senior team, Endrick already has 4 goals and 2 assists. When this kid gets hot, he becomes incredibly dangerous. His first 3 international goals came in 3 consecutive matches, and every single one revealed what is quickly becoming his deadliest weapon. Not his pace, not his shooting, his intelligence. Look at his first goal at Wembley against England. He recognised the space behind the defensive line and attacked it immediately. The original pass was not even meant for him, but Endrick stayed alive in the play. When Vinicius' effort rebounded into the box, Endrick was already there to finish. Against Spain, he showed something different. The finish was brilliant, but the movement before it was even better. During the corner sequence, watch how he constantly adjusts his position with small, intelligent steps. He reads the trajectory of the play before anyone else. When the clearance dropped loose inside the box, Endrick was exactly where he needed to be. 1 clean volley, goal. A finish that felt straight out of Adriano's highlight
Yo,
reel.
another thing I want to mention, Endrick's shot power, bro. Oh my. Nah, he's got technique. He's got technique, bro. Like, pure, when it comes to like ball striking, bro, he's up there. I think he's definitely up there, bro. I would say like top 10. I don't know, put top 5 yet, man. Maybe he might be top 7, you know, right now, not all time, but like his ball striking technique.
Against Mexico,
is
the
clean.
story was the same. Again, he found space between defenders. Again, he anticipated the play faster than everyone around him. And when the cross arrived, he produced a perfect header to win the match. Then came Egypt. Watch the goal again. The moment Rafinha receives the ball, Endrick starts mirroring his rhythm. Every change of pace, every movement, every shift of direction. His footwork is perfectly synchronised with the play developing around him. By the time the cross arrives, he has completely disappeared from the defender's radar and finds himself all alone in the box. That is not luck. That is elite football intelligence. And that is why these numbers matter, because these are not the beginnings of an ordinary player. These are the beginnings of a footballer who might genuinely change the future of Brazil. Endrick is not the present of Brazilian football yet. He is not Ronaldinho. He is not Kaká. He is not Adriano. He is not Neymar. But if there is one former Brazilian superstar whose traits appear again and again
Oh, no.
when you watch Endrick play, it is Ronaldo Ronaldo Nazario. And that is exactly why Carlo Ancelotti keeps repeating the same thing. Endrick is not Brazil's present, he is Brazil's future. The first similarity is his explosiveness. Like Ronaldo, Endrick possesses a low centre of gravity and extraordinary lower body power. He does not need 20 metres to reach top speed. His greatest weapon is what happens in the first 3 to 5 metres. That first step is absolutely devastating. Defenders think they are in control of the situation, and then suddenly they are chasing shadows. But what makes this even more dangerous is that Endrick does not lose control of the ball while accelerating. One of Ronaldo's greatest gifts was that the ball moved at the same speed as his legs. Endrick is showing that exact same ability. He can carry the ball at maximum speed while keeping it glued to his left foot, maintaining full control even when defenders are desperately trying to recover. As Endrick showed with his assist against Croatia, there is much more to his game than the goals. He picked up the ball inside his own half, drove forward at high speed, controlled the tempo of the attack, and then released the pass at exactly the right moment, splitting 3 defenders and leaving Gabriel Martinelli completely alone to finish with a composed low strike. And that is another aspect of Endrick that deserves huge credit. During his time in France, he learned how to play as a number 10 and also operate from wide areas. He is no longer just a penalty box striker. He has become a far more complete and versatile attacker, capable of creating, carrying and finishing attacks himself. That evolution makes him far less predictable for defenders and ultimately far more dangerous. Then there is his movement off the ball. Ronaldo is a master at attacking the blind side of defenders. Endrick is already developing that same tactical maturity. He does not wait for the ball to arrive at his feet. He attacks space, watch his movements carefully. He constantly performs little feints before exploding behind the defensive line. He pretends to come short, freezes the centre-back for a split second, then immediately attacks the space in behind. His timing's exceptional. Even more impressive is his understanding of defensive lines. He knows exactly when to start his run, when to curve his movement, and how to remain onside while creating the cleanest possible passing lane for his teammates. And once he gains an advantage, he becomes incredibly difficult to stop. This is another area where the Ronaldo comparison becomes obvious. Endrick does not only beat defenders with speed, he beats them with body positioning. His powerful legs, strong hips and compact frame allow him to shield the ball in a way that is remarkably similar to Ronaldo. The moment he gets his shoulder or hip between the defender and the ball, the battle is practically over. Suddenly he creates half a metre of separation, and at the elite level that is all a striker needs. Then comes perhaps the most terrifying similarity of all, the finishing. Elite strikers do not finish in seconds. They finish in milliseconds. That was one of Ronaldo's greatest superpowers, and Endrick is already showing flashes of the same instinct. He does not need a huge backswing to shoot. His striking technique is incredibly compact. One quick movement, one sharp touch, one explosive finish. Goalkeepers simply do not have enough time to react. And just like Ronaldo, Endrick is not obsessed with looking beautiful. If a toe poke is the fastest solution, he will use a toe poke. If a first-time finish is available, he takes it. The objective is simple: score. That mentality is reflected in his finishing numbers as well. Time and time again, he converts chances that statistically should not become goals. He finds the bottom corner. He attacks the near post. He catches goalkeepers leaning the wrong way. And he does all of this with a calmness that should not exist in a player his age. So, no. This is not hype. This is not social media exaggeration. This is not another wonder kid being pushed by headlines. Watch this kid very carefully, because players with these traits do not come around often, and something tells me that sooner, rather than later, Endrick is going to have his moment on the biggest very carefully, because players with these traits do not come on the biggest stage.
What I'm going to say about Endrick,
something tells me that sooner, rather than...
What was I going to say? Endrick. I have this bad habit where I just lose my trail of thought. Yes, bro. When I first kind of saw Endrick, right, as a talent, emerging talent, I think this was when he was in like Palmeiras in Brazil. My first thought when thinking of him or when analysing him as a player I really didn't see him as a gunman like that. In general, like Brazilians, when you think of like the Brazilian players, right? Like when you think of them as players, right, you kind of see them as more like flair, technique, maverick, skill guys, skill men. You know what I mean? Like technical, like technicality, technique on point, right? Like gunman ain't really at the top of your mind, you know. But man, I think Endrick though, like the more I watch the guy, the more he kind of drifts away from that like flairman, maverick. Not to say he don't have that, he has that in his game, but I feel like he's more like gunman, you know, which is like not that many of like Brazil's elite players were like that, if you know what I mean. So Endrick is unique in that way, in that light. If you do wanna paint it, that's one thing I've like kind of realized or come to realize that when watching Endrick more, man. Like he has that gunman trait, you know. And I do think that the Ronaldo Nazario comparison, I think, right, I don't think he's gonna be. I'm not saying that he is as good or he's going to be as good as Ronaldo Nazario, but I think the template of player, yes, I can see like Endrick falling under that template, under that Ronaldo Nazario kind of template, man. Endrick, man, what a player, man. I ain't gonna lie.